Minting, mining. These terms have long been in our vocabulary, but today they are increasingly used to refer to an entirely new industry, NFTs.
So it's basically digital art or any asset in the virtual world, in the virtual economy that can be tied to the blockchain, that can be bought and sold.
NFT sales have made headlines recently, with artist Beeple selling a piece for $69 million earlier this year. An NFT of Twitter CEO Jack Dorsey's first ever tweet went for $2.9 million. Like cryptocurrency, NFT sales are prone to volatility. At its height in March this year, monthly digital art sales figures were at $68.7 million. However, those figures had plummeted to $17.7 million by June, according to nonfungible.com. Still, investors and artists alike remain optimistic.
It's a massive market. We used to have VHS tapes and a blockbuster video, right? And then we eventually moved and migrated onto streaming from Netflix, from HBO. We're moving from traditional pieces of art being minted onto networks, computer networks now, and digitized, and anyone can buy that art. So it's a massive market because anyone now can be an artist. You don't have to wait for a gallery to pick you up or consider you valuable.
For artists, this emerging trend presents a new opportunity.
It gives an opportunity to a young global audience, an African audience, to showcase their work to a global audience.
Osinachi is one of Nigeria's most bankable digital artists. A former librarian, he began diving into digital art by drawing on Microsoft Word.
I didn't fully understand what this was about, but the excitement for me was that I could put my work in a place where many people would see it aside from Instagram, right? And that was the lure for me. I went in and explored other marketplaces, and it wasn't until 2019 that the market picked up, right? And we saw the boom. The pandemic actually helped because collectors couldn't go to physical galleries, so a lot of them discovered the NFT space that way. And then 2021, the Beeple and Christie's auction happened, and everybody's screaming NFTs.
Now he says he's commanding up to 5 figures for his digital art. And the potential for lifelong royalties could mean a perpetual payday for Osinachi and other NFT artists.
Artists get paid in perpetuity in the NFT space thanks to the smart contract. The smart contract in the blockchain for each work on the blockchain would have it that the artist will get 10% in royalties from every secondary sale. So after they must have made their first sale, right? The secondary sale, the collector sells to another collector. Now, whatever that work sells for, the artist gets 10%.
However, low internet penetration remains a formidable barrier to entry for some artists on the continent.
I think African artists are fast embracing NFT space and getting on board. But let's not also forget that the continent has quite a number of people who are still not within the data economy. And so a bit of work will need to be done.
Now, companies like Magic Carpet Studios are creating platforms to help African artists jump on the trend.
That's part of what we're trying to do, to create workshops and platforms where we can help traditional artists to start acquiring the digital tools through which they can now digitize and monetize their art. It's a process, but it's important for us to also come alongside the artists to give them the direction to assess the market. And for us as a company, one of the things we're trying to do with our platform, Artistry, is to first of all give African artists a prime place.
Keep it going, keep it going.
Artists like Nairobi-based Rich Alela are taking advantage of global platforms by creating their own auctions.
That is good.
Some of the barriers to entry in the NFT marketplace revolve around the fees. So that's the first barrier to entry. The second is the technical know-how. Because it's new, the platform itself is not that easy to understand.
Creators and buyers have also run into issues with payment.
The Nigerian regulations have not been very friendly to the crypto space. I see it being more hostile than a possibility of exploring innovation and having conversations that can open up the space.
While NFT sales are mostly conducted via cryptocurrencies, in countries like Nigeria, high trading volume has been met with official rules and restrictions. Despite the challenges, those in the sector believe NFTs are going to become a way of life for artists.
You cannot talk about art now without mentioning NFTs. It will become a part of the art scene as we know it. You will see art fairs talking about NFTs. You see galleries talking about NFTs. You see collectors asking each other, do you have an NFT in your collection? And as long as the blockchain exists, that is going to keep happening.